Welcome to Striking World. Our video is about to top largest cities in the world by 2030. By 2030, the global population will have grown to over 8.5 billion people. 60% of them will live in cities and 1 in every 3 people will live in a city with over 500,000 inhabitants. This trend means that it is more important than ever to get our built environment right. By 2030, it will literally be shaping the way that more than half the people on Earth are able to live their lives. Africa and Asia will see high levels of growth in the coming decade. Here, we look at the 10 largest cities by 2030, as predicted by the United Nations World Urbanization Prospects. Number 10. Mexico City, Mexico, with 23.9 million people. Held by Shanghai in 1950, and by New York in 2015, Mexico City will take 10th place on the global ranking of the world's largest cities by 2030. The sprawling capital of Mexico is already one of the most important cultural and financial centers of the Americas. Its phenomenal growth since the 1980s has been accompanied by air pollution and transport infrastructure issues, but the city has moved to address these and now has a clear plan for sustainable development in place. Between the present day and 2030, the city has seen a number of built environment innovations in recent years, including smog-eating buildings which help to combat air pollution and the engineering of earthquake-proof skyscrapers to withstand the region's seismic activity. Number 9. Lagos, Nigeria, with 24.2 million people. With a forecast annual economic growth rate of 5.1% over the next 12 years, Lagos is set to overtake Johannesburg to become one of Africa's largest cities by 2030. Already a vast urban area of Nigeria, Lagos has the highest GDP of any city on the African continent and is home to one of its largest and busiest ports. The projected rates of expansion and growth present a significant challenge for the city over the next decade. Its population is also much younger than that of other cities on our list, creating a powerful demographic opportunity, but also posing a risk, as the city absorbs millions of young people into the urban labor force while managing the political instability that could entail if youth unemployment soars. Number 8. Cairo, Egypt, with 24.5 million people. Despite not appearing in the top 10 back in 1950, Cairo is set to move up from its 9th place ranking in 2015 to become the world's 8th largest city by 2030. With an urban area that already extends over 600 square kilometers, Egypt's sprawling capital is currently grappling with air and water pollution issues, along with infamous traffic congestion challenges. With the city set to become home to over 24.5 million people by 2030, plans to cut emissions and construct a new sewer system are now in development. Number 7. Karachi, Pakistan, with 24.8 million people. With a projected population of nearly 25 million people, Karachi, in Pakistan, will enter this list for the first time by 2030. Despite its turbulent past and well-publicized infrastructure challenges, the city remains a major cultural and economic center and a key port on the Indian Ocean, fueling its expansion over the next 12 years. Number 6. Dhaka, Bangladesh, with 27.4 million people. While the 6th place was held by Moscow with 5.4 million residents in 1950, it will belong to Dhaka by 2030. Already the 4th most densely populated city in the world, the capital of Bangladesh will grow its population from just under 19 million people in 2018 to over 27 million in 12 years' time. Despite being a major financial center, the city is prone to flooding and grappling with traffic congestion. The first phase of its new metro is due to open in 2021. Number 5. Beijing, China, with 27.7 million people. Moving up from 7th place in 2015 to 5th place by 2030, is China's vast capital Beijing. Standing as the political center of the nation for more than 8 centuries, Beijing combines 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites with the modern architecture and infrastructure of one of today's foremost capital cities. However, its expansion has not been without its challenges, and ongoing programs are now working to tackle traffic congestion, improve air quality, and ensure the retention of historic sites over the next decade of growth. Number 4. Mumbai, India, with 27.8 million people. Just ahead of Beijing and moving up one place from the 2015 rankings, is India's leading financial hub, Mumbai. With thriving commercial and entertainment industries coupled with high living standards, Mumbai will continue to attract residents from across India and the wider region over the next decade. Number 3. Shanghai, China with 30.8 million people. Breaking the 30 million mark and moving up from its 10th place ranking in 1950 is China's largest city, Shanghai. The urban area has seen intense development since the introduction of economic reforms in the early 1990s. Already home to the world's busiest container port and the financial center of one of the world's leading economies, Shanghai will continue to expand over the next 12 years, ranking as the third largest city in the world in 2030. Number 2. Delhi, India with 36.1 million people. Taking second place is Delhi, India's capital and current most populated city. With GDP set to grow by 7.1% a year, Delhi will outperform its nearest Indian rival Mumbai up to 2030. Air pollution remains a significant challenge, with the World Health Organization naming it as the most polluted city in the world in 2014. Despite several initiatives, the expansion of the metro, and measures to curb emissions, concerns remain around the levels of air pollution in Delhi and their projected growth as the city expands. And number 1. The biggest city of the world will be Tokyo, Japan with 37.2 million people. With an astonishing population of over 37 million people, Japan's capital Tokyo is set to top our list. Tokyo is already the largest city in the world and is set to retain its position from the 2015 rankings with almost no change in the size of its population. The city has a lot going for it. It's a leading financial and political center, was ranked first in the 2017 Safe Cities Index, and frequently tops the list, and is set to host the Olympic Games in 2020. Looking even further ahead, the Global Cities Institute projects that Kinshasa, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, will be the most populous city in the world by 2075 and that by 2100, it will be surpassed by Lagos in Nigeria, which will then be home to 88 million people. Anyways, which of these cities have you visited so far and which city you like to visit in the future? Must know in the comment box. Also make sure to subscribe to The Striking World and leave a like to this video. But for now, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.